Hey folks, I'm Red, and this is my King Arthur channel. This is the free-to-play series, and we are in day number 61. So gotten through 2 sets of login rewards, and I wanted to talk about Aldri today because there's currently an event on that I'm going to be pushing, and here's the raid bounty, and you get some really good rewards, and so I'll be working on that. And I just managed to clear stage 10 of Aldri, and it's got some interesting mechanics. So I thought I'd talk to you about 2 basic teams that you can use. So there's kind of, this is the team that I've been running. The other option is something like a Accolon comp. So Accolon puts out the decrease recovery or recovery block that allows you then to do damage. And so this team, if I use maybe Merlin and Bedivere, this is the team that I was running up till stage 8. And if you have the damage, if you have the stats, this can really work as well if you have the speed for Aldri. And so basically you need some way to keep your team alive. So they have to have around 25k HP, they have to have some good damage stats, and then Accolon has to be pretty much fully skilled. So his relic skills here are not super high, but then what I've done is I've maxed his passives that allows him to get out his recovery disruption pretty consistently. And you need somewhere around 70% accuracy to land that. So I've got 60%. It works to land the debuff or the heal block, but he doesn't have enough survivability for the higher stages. And everyone is basically in vigor sets to make sure they can get off their moves, except for Bedivere. So this works to stage 8, but I've found there's another team that works much better and is a little bit more consistent for this stage, and that is Anguish and Rosier plus a healer. And here I'm using Gillian because I have her, and she's not the most consistent healer, but she does provide a boost to HP. And then I use a turn meter booster. So if you have the stats, you can get away with the kind of bulk and Jarrett combination here. So here's the Jarrett and bulk. My bulk is not leveled up, so he needs to be basically level 60 with decent HP to survive that first hit from the boss. And you need, if you're using turn meter boosters, you need some decent speed on them as well to make sure that they go kind of first, or at least very soon after the bear goes. So what's happening with the bear? So basically, if we look at the bear here, the bear goes through a cycle where he essentially goes to sleep, and then after he sleeps or hibernates, he wakes up and heals himself almost to full HP. So that's why you need the recovery disruption if you're using that team, or you need a way to put out a ton of damage. And this is where this team really shines because they do damage over time. So we've got Anguish doing his chills, he's got this frost relic, and then we've got Rosier. And Rosier, you could put her in frost probably as well. The main thing you want for Rosier, it's kind of required for this strategy, is her Chivalry. Okay, so you need her at Chivalry 8. If she's at Chivalry 8, then this Hook of Death, fresh Crimson Blood, which is her passive. So we look at her passive here. This is Hook of Death. She gains Blood Frenzy for 2 turns. Blood Frenzy is the ability to inflict bleed on a single enemy for 1 turn. And if they already have bleed, it increases all duration over time effects by 1 turn. Okay, so typically your duration over time just applies for a single turn. She does make sure that, it extends an extra turn. So you need her fast-ish. You need her turn meter boosted to make sure she's going 2 turns for every one of the bear's turns. And this allows you to extend those damage over time debuffs so that you can deal increasingly more damage as the fight goes on. And what's nice about this ability is that it actually applies to other people who are doing damage over time. So if you have a Lancelot, if you have an Anguish, if you have someone else who's doing damage over time, placing those debuffs, then she will extend all of those. So you want those heroes to go first, and then after that, Rosier. Okay, so I'm using this relic, and I'm using the third skill here because that's where the passive triggers. Okay, so it's not a great chance to inflict bleed, but she extends whatever damage over time is already on the boss. So that includes her bleeds, that includes Anguish's, Chill, or whoever else you're using. And you see it's not leveled up at all. So I could definitely improve this build. The other thing you need is for her to have enough survivability. So I've got 14.5k HP. That's really not enough to run her without a healer, which is why I have Gillian in there. And then I have Anguish here at 16k HP. Again, he should have more HP. But you notice he's 187 speed, so he goes right before Rosier. And then the fastest person on the team is this guy, Sergius. And kind of what makes this work, I'm running him with this flame relic, and I managed to get one skill book into this third skill. So he's doing a 50% recharge attack gauge, and that works. I do have this this other relic, which would allow him to survive a bit better, but it doesn't have that same skill. So I really need that flame relic, even though he's weak affinity with the flame, and he doesn't have great HP, but I gave him enough to essentially survive long enough. So for this team, you need survivability, you need a bit of speed, and you need someone who boosts the turn meter. And then Rosier, Chivalry 8, and another person who's putting out the debuffs, damage over time. Now you also need them to have enough effect accuracy. So Rosier's at 82% effect accuracy, Anguish is at 52.9. He should have a little bit more, but this is kind of what I've got in terms of his belt and his orb. I just don't have quite enough stats there to make him stronger. But I do have him kind of chivalried up, so I did increase his chivalry, and so actually on Chivalry 8, he has a chance to inflict bleed as well. So you're getting another chance to get more debuffs or more damage over time on this hero. So yeah, so this is kind of the team that I'm running for Aldri 10, and we can just look at Gillian quickly. You can see she's not super fast, but she has good HP, and for her, she's always doing her skill 2, which is a chance to heal multiple allies. So it doesn't always work, but it works enough that I can farm this stage, and it's around a 4-minute fight. So let me show you kind of how this works. And again, if you have a heal blocker like Accolon, you've got the stats for it, you've got the damage for it, that's probably going to be a faster fight. But Rosier at Chivalry 8 can really make this work for you with some turn meter boosting and other stats. So let me just go ahead and run this, and I will have enough, stamina. Okay, and I'll kind of talk you through what's happening. So the real issue here for me is survivability. So I'm focusing on the boss. I turn meter boost with Sergius, and then Gillian does her heal, and then I've got Anguish going, and then notice all of these debuffs are getting extended. Okay, so the bear goes quickly, but then I turn meter boost again, and rinse and repeat. So here, these debuffs, these damage over time, are getting extended every time Rosier hits. Okay, and she's adding a debuff on there as well, a damage over time. and then she's extending all of these by an extra turn. So as the fight progresses, there's more and more of these damage over time debuffs going on, and they are hitting the boss and bringing his HP down. But you can see I'm having some difficulty surviving. Okay, so now he's going into hibernation mode, and he will then heal when he comes back up, but he's a little bit slower here, and so these debuffs keep getting extended, and I'm able to do more damage that way. So for me, this is a longer fight because he keeps healing. But eventually there comes a point where I've got enough debuffs, enough damage over time on the boss that keep getting extended. Okay, you can see they're ticking up and up. And that allows the boss then, after about 4 minutes, to go down, provided I can keep everyone alive long enough. So that's where, if you have a healer other than Gillian who can be more consistent in the heals, and you have more HP on your heroes, that will be a more consistent fight, because you'll be able to survive long enough to put up enough debuffs, enough damage over time, bleeds, and chills that it will bring the bear down. So that's kind of the basic strategy here, and it works enough that I can farm this pretty consistently. But again, it's a longer fight, and see, Rosier died, so this run is going to fail because I'm not able to keep extending those debuffs. So as you can see, I'm bringing the boss down, but it's not quite consistent. So if I could get Rosier faster, as you can see, I haven't got a upgraded her relic to make her more survivable. So a few things that I can do to kind of optimize this run, but the current stats, it actually works enough, consistently enough, that I'm able to beat this. So maybe what I'll do here is I will just upgrade Rosier's relic, and then try it again and see if I can survive a bit longer. Okay, so I've upgraded the relic to 4-star, and that's giving me another 2k HP. So if we look at equipment here, I'm now at almost 17k, so that should help her to survive a bit longer. And let's see if we can do it this time. Yeah, so I was able to do it previously, but there's a lot of RNG involved, and so we'll see if we can extend and make this a more consistent fight. Okay, so you can see my Sergius died, but because Rosier is still doing those debuff extensions, damage over time extensions, I'm able to bring the boss down without any trouble. So again, you just have to have people that survive long enough to the end of the fight, and then you can manage to bring it down with all those damage over time debuffs. So yeah, so that's it. I'll show you the stats again, because now there's been a few changes, but basically this is the way that it works. So 24k HP on my healer, could be a bit faster. I do have some effect accuracy in the build because I use her in other places, and then 16k HP on my Anguish, relatively fast, 180 or so speed. The main thing is that he's faster than my Rosier, and so he puts up his hits before she does, and she extends those damage over time. And then good effect accuracy on both of them. And then around 20k HP on Sergius, because he's got the flame relic, he needs more survivability. You can see that didn't even help him survive, but he survived long enough so that the damage over time could take effect and bring down the bear. So, and he is the fastest. So again, these heroes are not fully maxed. If they were, that would make it a lot easier, and probably quite a quicker run as well, because I could get a little bit more speed. Everyone is in vigor sets, and what other stats I could get on them, and that makes it work. There are other teams that also work on this. This is just kind of the lower stat team that I could figure out that works for me. So play around with the heroes that you have. Rosier is definitely worth investing in for this purpose. Sergius is worth investing in for elsewhere. Anguish you're going to probably want to invest in for Gorgos, and you might have a healer from the Gorgos fight that you could use instead of Gillian to make it kind of more consistent. So so that's it for this video. I hope that's helpful for you, just to kind of think through the mechanics of how this works for your account, and specifically for Aldri as you're working on pushing that tournament and the event. So thank you very much for watching. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.